Okay, welcome to Across the Great Iron and some big news again in the NFL. It just seems like like London bosses, once they come, they can't stop. Trevor Lawrence signed a new contract. I'm sure everyone has heard about this. A new 5-year contract. Is he worth it? Is he worth 275 million, which is literally taking his average per year to 55 million, right? So is he worth it? Um, I mean, this quarterback has had so much hype. If you listen to ESPN or you listen to Fox, especially Nick Wright calls him the prince who was promised. But I mean, I haven't. I mean, I don't know what everybody is saying because he's been underwhelming, absolutely underwhelming. I think in his rookie season, he had 17 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. Now, I know other quarterbacks, if they had the same sort of thing, right, they would be hounding them completely. But for some reason, I mean, granted, the Jaguars, have improved a little bit since he came. But I mean, that by itself is not saying much. Now, let's look at some, number one overall picks because I think there is something to why he's gotten that amount of money and the fact that he's a number one overall pick. It was 2021 number one overall pick. So let's look at 2020 Joe Burrow. All right. Joe Burrow, 2020 overall pick, took his team to the Super Bowl. So, okay. Let's look at 2019. I think that was Kyler Murray. Um, Inconsistent, I would say, mostly injured. Everyone keeps saying that he's great and all of that, but I mean, I haven't really seen him in the playoffs. And the same stick that they beat some quarterback with, they don't seem to beat him with. But I think everyone's kind of calmed down a little bit, on Kyler Murray. So 2018 Baker Mayfield bounced around, went from the Browns, went to the Panthers. Now seems like he's found a home in the box, and the box is giving him about 100 million or so in contract. But I mean, you could argue that he's probably more of a backup than he is a starter, even though he's starting for the Browns. 2017, you've got Miles Garrett. He's I mean, he's a defensive player, so not really a quarterback. And before then, you've got Jared Goff, who was signed, number one, the same, draft class as Dak Prescott. So Trevor Lawrence hasn't really done anything since he was signed, number one overall in 2021. So they must be paying him for potential. It's got to be potential, right? Definitely, it's got to be potential. So what does this say about Dak Prescott? Because for me, I think this is a massive slap on Dak Prescott. I think it is. Why are the Cowboys jerking around, with Dak Prescott? I mean, if you just, look at what Dak has achieved as a quarterback, I mean, there is no reason why he should have to be, demanding to be paid, has to go to the song and dance to be paid. I simply doesn't understand it. Every passing season, someone is shooting at Dak Prescott as if it's just a scrub. I mean, last season, they basically changed the MVP, sort of rules to give to Lamar Jackson, who didn't have as many passing touchdowns, as Dak Prescott did. They kind of, everyone was kind of saying blah, and they used the 49ers game as the one game that they really knocked Dak Prescott off because there is no doubt he should have been the MVP. But people are not gonna get off that horse, right? I'm talking about regular season here. So before people start talking about he doesn't do anything in the playoffs, I get that. But in the regular season, you will be hard pressed to find a quarterback that has won 12 games in 3 consecutive seasons. In fact, I think there's a stat that is going around that in the last 50 games, Dak Prescott and Patrick Mahomes have very similar numbers. I know. Dak Prescott is not Patrick Mahomes, but he's not chopped liver either. So I think he's just getting massively, disrespected. So I mean, I go back to this Trevor Lawrence, right? He deserved this massive contract, in my opinion. No, but congratulations to Trevor Lawrence, because you're making your money, you've gotten your money, and fair play to you. You get rewarded for anything that you're doing. It's something that deserves congratulations. But this is not really an attack on Trevor Lawrence, as it were. It's not really an attack on the fact that he has gotten the money. I think it's just the context in which he's being paid as the highest, quarterback right now. It's either someone is telling me that actually in the next couple of weeks he's no longer going to be the highest quarterback, which most likely would be the case, because at the end of the day, Tua's not paid yet. You've also got Dak has not been paid yet. There are a few other quarterbacks. Brock Purdy, I don't think has been paid yet. So you're thinking that there's a potential that maybe that number goes up. And so actually, he might not, this might not be such a big a deal. But if you think of him right now, he's earning the same amount of money, as the likes of Joe Burrow, as the likes of Jalen Hurts, who I actually do not rate, in terms of, elite quarterbacks, and everyone is, because he just really had one good season. That's it. One good season. And if you listen to Shady, on the Fox, they think you tell you that he's improving season out of season. But, I watch, excuse me, I watch the NFC East, regularly. And for me, it's going to really be interesting to see whether Jalen Hurts is going to be anywhere close to what he was taking the team to the Super Bowl, because I have my doubts. I don't think that he will be there. So, guys, I mean, what do you think? Is Trevor worth that amount of money, that investment? Are the Cowboys making a mistake with Dak? Drop your comments, below. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more reactions, because I'm sure that there's going to be a lot more, contracts that are being announced. And but fair play, Trevor Lawrence, well done. You've got your money, but we got to talk about this, man. Got to talk about this. The disrespect for my man Dak Prescott is really, really ridiculous. But hey, let me know what you guys think. See you in the next one.